Oh, you need a different voice.
How fun.
Zoom must have changed.
Technical difficulty.
Yeah, there must have been an update.
My brother couldn't log in as host last night.
It was weird this morning too when we were on a Zoom. Okay.
I'm sorry.
All right, I'm gonna go for it. Yes. Good evening, it's 6:34 PM. This is Mike McCoo for Selectmen, calling to order the regular meeting of the Town of Wellington Board of Selectmen on May 4th, 2026. Could I have everyone join us for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, so we have approval of minutes, and I would like to make a motion to add minutes for April 6th regular meeting, April 6th, 2026 regular meeting. Got a second? Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. So we'll do that one first since it's chronological order. The May 6th regular meeting, I'm sorry, April 6th. Thank you, Ralph, for catching that we didn't have that on the. I have been over these. I don't have any other comments on them.
I didn't know they all look pretty good.
Very, very good.
All right, all those in favor of accepting the April 6th minutes as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, that passes. And then, for discussion, I will, I'll move to approve the minutes of April 10th, 2026, which was a special meeting. April 10th, 2026 at noon.
I second.
Second. All right. This meeting, just as a refresher, was to read the call for the town meeting and to correct a couple of numbers that had typographical and other errors. Any additions or corrections? All right, all those in favor of accepting as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes. All right, present to speak. Public participation is encouraged. Speakers are limited by appropriateness, staying on topic and maintaining decorum. Time may be limited to maintain progress. So we'll start online. Anybody online present to speak? Okay, we'll go to the room. Don?
Don Berg, 34 Red Oak Hill Road, Wellington, Connecticut, speaking as Chair of the Housing Authority. Just to update you a little bit on solar, I think we're gonna have to, we have our attorney Hoops looking at it, and I haven't got the results of his assessment, but I think we may somehow have to either lease the area where the PV is gonna go from the town, or somehow, if the right term is, enjoin with the town to share that property. We're still trying to resolve that, and that's where it's at. I don't have any more additional information. When I have information that makes sense, I'll bring it to you, Mike.
All right, anybody else in the room for present to speak? John?
John Blessington, 29 Mason Road. Are we going to be included in the, when we get to the continued discussion of present to speak under old business? Are we going to be capable of participating in that?
I would say we've done a couple of open meetings already, so I would say if you have contributions, why don't you make them now? We're not gonna make a decision tonight anyway. We're just gonna continue the discussion, so this would be a great time for you to add.
Well, I'd say then continue the discussion. It's very difficult for me to speak here and then, you know, not knowing what's being said. So if it's not, no decisions being made tonight, I'll pass on that.
Yeah, we're just gonna continue the conversation, and I'll explain that a little more when we get to that part of the agenda. You know, and then we'll have, we'll have more public contribution before we make a decision. Anybody else in the room? Nick?
Hey, Tyler, Myrtle Road. So I probably won't be present for when we get to this agenda, but, that topic, but I have concern that the board, has this image that we want people to speak up. There's been dialogue online, obviously, and there's a tone from at least a member of the board where if something is said that they don't like or they call not truth or false, then let's do a passive aggressive. A board member is now going to passively aggressive say, oh, well, you may face defamation, right? That's not how you encourage people to come and speak. Just because somebody may not like the facts doesn't mean we sit there and say, well, you know what, I'm going to potentially look at defamation. Not that that was exactly said, but the tone. So I just find it ironic that we may want more participation, but if we don't like the participation, we can throw out this little thing out there to try to scare people away. So I find that funny or interesting. Great to see that the mill rate went from a massive 7.7% down to still a massive 6.6%. So awesome that we did get some revenue. That's good news. Hopefully eventually we clean that up. But that's it for now. Thank you.
Okay, just for clarity, what is the venue that this conversation you were talking about with the passive aggressive and all that, what was the venue that was happening in?
Mike, you don't have to play dumb. You know, you said it. It's online.
And what was the venue?
On social media.
Right, and was it on the town's Facebook account?
No, but you are the first selectman, right?
If it was not on any official town communications, then it's not official town communications,
Sure.
right?
Okay, but hey, your passive aggressiveness about saying defamation, just want people to know that, that's all.
Well,
You
that
proceed how
must be,
you
that
want.
must
You
be
proceed
Mike
how you
McCoo,
want.
the citizen you're talking about.
If you don't like it, hey, that's on you. Sometimes our feelings get hurt, I guess.
Well, I don't know of any official town communication that has any of this in it, so.
Oh, you do speak on behalf of the town through your personal account. You do. You can play dumb, but you do.
I'm not playing dumb.
Oh, you
I'm
are.
keeping separate, what is, official town business.
You can play dumb all you want, buddy, so, that's all.
Well, if you have a concern about town business and official town communications, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
All right, anybody else present to speak? All right. Okay. Correspondence. We posted, on the, town clerk's page, the email, the information from, the Capital Region Council of Governments about the latest update on the, Connecticut Foundation Solutions Indemnity Company, or as a lot of people call it, CFSIC. And because that program will eventually sunset, and it's been an important program in helping people get their foundations repaired, they want to make sure to do a lot of communication so that people who may need that support or might be eligible, or at least want to find out if they're eligible, have an opportunity before the program goes away. So that is posted. It's on the, it's trying to, be disseminated in any way possible. It's not present to speak, but if you have a technical something.
Yeah, for somebody that works in the real estate world, this is a big thing for people when it comes to their foundations. Anything the town can do to educate and such.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
And I would, add to that, Mike, that, the assessor's webpage is also an appropriate page to put that on, because that's where a lot of homeowners head first. There's nothing wrong with posting it in two places.
No, absolutely.
I'm slowly backing away from doing those inspections, but, one thing people are always looking for is reduction in their assessment.
The assessors were out today looking at the foundation.
No doubt.
For that reason. All right, I got a note to add that to the assessors webpage. Okay, Hannah, did we have anything else in communications?
I would put the police report under your first one.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay. Tax refunds. Oh, okay. I misread. I skipped a line. Okay. I move that we refund Timothy Bailey of Losey Road, $3,005.50 for overpaid taxes. Can I get a second? Any discussion?
That's a lot of money, but
Hmm.
a lot more than we usually, both of them, I see two here, they're significantly larger than most. Just, I know the tax reports don't say why or anything. Sort of.
Yeah,
Could be.
I don't know the specific reason
No, we
for this
don't.
one,
We
but
don't.
often, you know, because of the lag between the assessment, the grand list year,
Yeah, yeah.
and then like if someone does a refi or whatever,
Yes.
they switch in between, using their, mortgage company to pay their taxes
Yes.
versus themselves.
Sure.
A lot of times, that's what a lot of these are.
Mhm.
So, any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. I move that we refund Lynn Balaz the amount of $457.72 in overpaid taxes.
A second?
All right, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And I move, that we refund, Kenneth and Tammy Fluid, 72 Old Farms Road, $2,917.96 for overpaid taxes.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Before they escape me, I'm gonna sign them. All right, Public Works report. Continuing the spring sweeping process through town, patching potholes. Built a small roof over the electric motor and phase converter at the transfer station for the compactor. Picked up roadside wood from tree removal contractor, grading dirt roads, installed Narcan box at the town office building.
What's a Narcan?
That's the naloxone Narcan for like an OD.
Mm-hmm.
And the box is at the top of the stairs here outside the bathrooms, next to the defibrillator. So that emergency equipment is all sort of in the same place, sorry.
And who uses that? Anybody?
So public use, yep, has instructions right on it.
Okay.
Yep, just like the defibrillator.
Mhm.
Delivered and installed new wood chips at River Road Park for, the playground area, put out vote signs for the budget referendum, trim brush at Hall School behind the athletic field fence, moved speed radar sign to Village Hill Road, that there are multiple, well, I'll talk about it in first selectman report, there's multiple speed things going on, so, just a note on here, over 12 days, they recorded 436 events, which is going over the speed limit. Top recorded speed was 74 miles per hour on Village Hill Road. Average recorded speed was 48 miles per hour, which is of course above the speed limit. 12% of the speeds were higher than 54. The speed limit is 30. We're asking that people please slow down. And we'll talk more about speed in the, I do have that in that, I have that in here. Okay, multiple trips to the old town hall for meeting with the contractor for the window refurbishing project, truck and vehicle maintenance and care. And reminder that the brush pile is still closed. We did apply a couple of weeks ago to DEEP for a new permit, but we had to wait first because we were in extreme fire danger. They came out and inspected, and we're supposed to be getting a new permit. I sent another email to DEEP today asking them what the status is on the burn permit for the pile. We are right now in high fire danger, but we're expecting rain later this week, so we need to get it burned so that more people can continue to bring brush. Make sure to check the transfer station Facebook page and web page for updates. There's also information regarding brush pile options on your property that support forest health and habitat.
I have something, I just want to remind everyone that to try to keep as much cardboard out of the single stream recycling container. They do recognize that there is a problem that it fills up very, we get money for the cardboard and we pay to get rid of the single stream. So if you can get it out of there, keep it out of the single stream recycling bin, will actually reduce our cost of tipping and make money on the cardboard. Now they recognize that the cardboard dumpster fills up quickly. They're trying to work it out so they can get another one, just so you know. So they recognize that it does fill up and it's nobody's fault and got a muscle memory to throw it in. But
well, and it's actually a good sign. It's filling up fast enough as more and more people are separating their cardboard out, which is good. So we'll accommodate that because it helps us revenue.
Yeah, let's clarify what we mean by cardboard. Are we limited to just corrugated or
I
any?
think in the pizza boxes now too, which used to be not, but
Well, I'm thinking things like pasta boxes.
I
believe all of those plain cardboard type boxes are.
It no longer has to be just corrugated.
We'll get
There
clarity on that.
There was a period of time when we had a separate covered box.
Yeah.
For corrugated cardboard.
Yeah.
And the request to the residents was to flatten it before you dump it in.
Yeah, right.
And that proved to be very hazardous because, it would all slide down to the front and then try to get in there to throw it back.
Yeah, for that.
Well, it's funny though, I think I was talking to Bob there, he said it's better when it's wet, because it compacts better. When it's dry and push it down and it rises right back up.
Yeah. The recycling people don't like it when it's wet.
I know, because it weighs.
They gotta pay more.
Yeah, I'm just looking to see if it's on the transfer station.
I didn't know they had stuff about brush piles on your property. I'd like to read that. I didn't mean to hijack the.
No, that's okay.
I don't wanna get the.
I'm not seeing,
I just wanted to be clear about the type of cardboard because I've started including all kinds of cardboard.
Yeah, they broadened it, but I'll find out, cause I volunteered a couple of days when they first started it, just to.
I know that.
What
it doesn't specify on the website the exact details of what
Might be
cardboard
cardboard.
means.
Maybe
So we'll get clarity on what cardboard means. Okay.
Yeah, I just don't wanna be throwing cardboard in there that negates the whole process.
Yeah, you got it
Right.
right.
Okay, moving on from Public Works report to First Selectman status report. The last week or two has been, as typical, very busy. Prepping for the referendum, finalizing job description for the finance manager. We're now advertising that. That closes this coming Friday at the end of the day.
Finance manager being,
Donna's
Donna's
position.
position.
Yep.
Okay, that's great. Didn't realize that was the exact title.
Yeah, it's advertised as finance / business manager.
Is that, okay.
Multiple meetings with the insurance representatives regarding the transition July 1st to the new health insurance company, which is less expensive as part of that whole debacle during the budget process. Also met today with the insurance agent for the fire department. The paid employees on the fire department are on a different insurance plan because the fire department's their employer, not the town.
Gotcha.
So we had a meeting with them today to try to sort of streamline some stuff there. Met with a representative from the Department of Economic and Community Development regarding SIF grants.
What's a SIP grant?
I forget what CIF stands for. But it's a state level grant, and we reviewed basically everything that's in the capital plan going out 5 years, everything else that we've been talking about in town. And they are providing some guidance on what they think are the best fits for the SIP program.
Easy to talk to, are they?
Really easy to talk to. Yeah, very good conversation. So they're giving us some feedback on what things they think would be the most successful things in town to apply for grants for. If any of that comes through, it may relieve something that's already in CIP. There's a lot of options, so we haven't actually started applying for anything yet. The multiple legal updates, draft part-time agreement. Donna, our outgoing retiring business manager, is going to assist us with the fiscal year transition on a temporary part-time agreement. We have to have either her or we have to hire the people from our software company to do it because the process of changing the fiscal year is complicated. And the company wanted they wanted an expensive contract to come in to do that. And since Donna knows all our stuff intimately, it seemed like a much better idea to hire the person who knows how to run our town. Yeah, yep. This is mutual agreement. Yep.
Excellent.
So thank you to Donna for being willing to do that.
We didn't have to force
it. The major benefit to the taxpayers. So, and that will train whoever the new person is. That person will get trained in that process to be able to do it next year. Received multiple speeding complaints. Okay, I thought I had speed in here already. So continue, and even more so, I think, because it's springtime and more people are out and the weather's good and the window's down and the radio's up and feels like a good time to drive faster. I'm seeing it right here on Old Farms Road, the amount of people who fly by this building, even right here on Old Farms Road, going way too fast. So Public Works moved one of the speed signs that belongs to Public Works, so we have direct access to the data. They moved that to Upper Village Hill, kind of between Cemetery and SPAC.
Okay.
And
the Stafford commuters.
Yeah, and then there's one owned by the state, by the program, the DOT program that's based out of Yukon, like C2E2 and all that. Sorry, that's a different program. Anyway, there's too many acronyms these days. The DOT program that's based over at the Old Mansfield Training School that's part of Yukon owns some of the signs that are in town. They've moved some of those around. And people will also notice that on this past Sunday, there's multiple locations in town where the rubber strips have been put across the road, the little rubber hoses. And I think there's 8 locations. Those are speed counter. They're traffic counts too.
I noticed them on 74 coming over here.
There's 2 locations on 74, 2 locations on 32. There's like 8 or 9 locations around town. And that's coordinated through DOT. And they're gonna come up with a whole sort of a data set about what's going on in town. It is happening everywhere, every town's reporting it.
Yeah.
But we need to get an idea, we need to get a handle on it. In the meantime, we need to ask the public to please, pay attention to what you're doing. Talk to other people in your family, friends, neighbors, whoever's willing to listen to you. You know, teenage children. I know I was one time. And,
Oh, yeah.
I got talked to a couple times by state troopers. So before we have, you know, something serious in town happen, you know, it's not, I mean, there's a traffic fatality in Wellington. I don't know the exact numbers, but they're not as far apart as we'd like them to be. So let's please, watch our speeds, and we'll soon have some data on, unfortunately, on how bad it is. You heard that little snippet just from that one that we had in the Public Works report. That device has only been there for a few days, and we already have that much information.
That's right.
No.
The part of the problem, I think, is the cars that are, the speed
They
limits,
sail right along.
but the speed limits were established many, many years ago when cars, when you hit 60, 70 miles an hour, it was a challenge to drive that fast.
Yeah.
Today, my wife's car, I could do 70 miles an hour down Village Hill and not bat an eye because the car can.
Some people are doing it.
I know that.
Yeah.
I'm not one of them.
No, you're absolutely right. The cars make it easy. Okay, so let's coordinate speed study. So when we have data, we'll get that data out. Planning for Wellington Day and Memorial Day. And I don't think it'll surprise anyone because of the legislative session, which involved a lot of budgetary issues, revenue for the town, educational cost share. Anyone who's watching the news is seeing it all. Plus things about the school building project. There's been a lot of contact with Senator Gordon, Representative Nuccio, and all that. So busy couple of weeks. Any questions on? Okay. Okay, last thing is the state police report for April. And we had a slight uptick in down 5 from March. Look at that.
In what category?
Well, that's the overall. That's what I'm learning. I don't have less months to compare all the individual categories. So 3 domestic, 32 patrol check, 8 medical assist, 14 alarms, 36 citizens, 6 disturbances, 23 traffic stops that were not on the highway, 4 suspicious incidents.
That makes sense.
Okay, so. All right, so that does it for selectmen status report. New business appointments. Wellington Housing Authority Board. We were notified by the Housing Authority that they had Regina Chattel interested in being appointed to the board. And so we're here to take care of that. But if you want to take just a moment first and just kind of express your interest in the board. I know that you have already sent us a letter which expresses that, but if you want to make a couple comments, feel free.
Sure, thank you. I think it's important to participate in the board, because Quite frequently, I see in social media, from concerned citizens voicing their concern about senior citizens. We have to protect our senior citizens. And I'd like to suggest that maybe the senior citizens are the ones who should be making that known, rather than some outside influences, outside meaning much younger people. So I think being part of that, being a senior citizen, I know I don't look it, but I am.
Okay. I would have never guessed, but go ahead.
Budget 9. So anyway, it's important to be able to provide a safe and affordable environment that is affordable to folks who need it. And I realize that it's a sliding scale with regard to the rents, but I would like to see more emphasis on making it affordable, but also having the rents are the ones that are, covering all the costs. But I'd like to see more work being done to help the senior citizens that are in those housing complexes, in those little cottages, which would really be beneficial to all of us. And, I've been in this town for almost 50 years. I can tell because that's when I got married. So it's easy to remember. Yeah, and it really is important to be able to voice your concern for the folks that are living in there, that are using the facilities, and support them in any way we can. So that would be my main concern, my
All right.
main interest.
And Don, you're president of the Housing Authority, right, or chairman, or whatever the correct term is? Chairman. And you guys were recommending this appointment, right?
Yes, yeah, we support the appointment of Regina to the board. I think she will be an asset. I don't know you real well, but I've talked to a few members of the board and some members of the board wives, and they fully endorse you, and I think your
Thank you.
goals are admirable, and we need members on the board to speak up and advocate, so I think that's great.
All right, questions from selectmen?
No, my only question is, we have term to be determined on our agenda. Have we figured out what that's going to be?
Yes, so I think you had spoken to Nicole a little bit about the actual term.
Yes.
So it'll be for 5 years, it would be effective immediately, so we'd be saying today, and then the 5-year date. I actually have a letter drafted upstairs, so I can grab that at the end of the meeting too.
So it would be a term expiring 5 years from today.
Mhm.
I should live so long.
What does that mean?
So I was just gonna say, we could vote on that. Starts today, expires 5 years from today.
Yeah,
Sounds comfortable. Virginia, your name's familiar. Have you served on other boards and commissions in the town over the years?
I was an alternate on the Board of Finance
Okay.
many
All right,
years ago.
when I saw it,
You may see my name around because I started the Wellington Garden Club.
Okay.
We're trying to keep it, to revive it again. We have a meeting coming up. So when you see the beautiful flowers around, don't look at the weeds, just look at the flowers. We put that in.
All right.
So that's
thank you for doing
what
that.
you have seen it.
I thought weeds were flowers.
Only when they're growing in the right place.
All right, well, I'm going to move that we appoint Regina Chattel to the Wellington Housing Authority Board for a term starting tonight and ending 5 years from tonight.
Thank you.
Second.
The proper date will be in your letter.
Thank you.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
very much.
Thank you.
The Lincoln Parks and Rec Commission, Brian Smith, for a term of May 4th, 2026 to May 5th, 2029. Do we have anybody online representing the, Brian Smith or Rec? No, nobody in the room, okay, any thoughts, questions?
Yes. Yes. I went back and I looked at the ordinance for the Recreation Commission,
Mhm.
and the terms were pretty explicit. The effective date or the expiration date was always December 15th. And it was staggered terms. So that 3 members, 1 year would be expiring, then 2 the next, then
Right,
2 after
and
that.
then they would always be 5 years, so they were staggered.
Correct. But it was consistent with the December 15th date. That's explicit in the ordinance. So I'm not challenging his appointment, just I'm questioning the term, because we have one other member on that commission whose term is off from the December 15th. I think it was July to July or something.
So probably it was,
I don't
it probably
think
was
we're
started at a meeting they were appointed at and someone hadn't looked at the
at the ordinance.
ordinance. Which is interesting because I want, we should be finding a way to catch this before it comes here.
Well, I think before we establish Mr. Smith's term, we should compare with the current members so that we don't screw up the 3 expiring 1 year, 2 the next, 2 the next, et cetera.
All right, so how about we do this? Let's table this appointment. And we'll,
I'm not trying to torpedo it.
let's just, the rec commission has enough people to meet, as I understand, so we're not preventing them from meeting. Let's table this one to our next meeting and we'll ask some more questions about the terms.
Because there might be 2 more appointments we'll have to make because.
Right, we may correct the other terms.
Yes. There were 3 terms on the webpage that had already expired. One of those was reappointed, but the webpage was never updated.
Right.
So that needs some attention, and let's just get it right.
Okay. So we're gonna leave, this, London Parks and Rec on the table for now, right?
Hmm?
Okay.
That's fine.
Do we need to have a motion for that or anything?
You know, that's always kind of a debate.
Fine, I'll make a motion to table it till the next meeting.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. There we go. That's perfect. Okay, new business B, Solid Waste Advisory Committee. We don't need,
Now we got a can of worms.
well, I did not, because we're reopening the can of worms. I didn't want to take specific action tonight, but, we do need to be talking about this because Public Works brought it up to me in operating the transfer station, that we are supposed to have a Solid Waste Advisory Committee. It was active up till roughly, seems like around 2013 or so, is when it seemed to kind of peter out. And it came up because we were discussing some of these things about like the cardboard and all this other stuff.
Right.
And the cost of the recycling going up so much, and the most hot topic was the discussion about charging for use at the transfer station, which is always a difficult conversation every time it comes up. But it needs to, at a minimum, be discussed because we are now the only town in the area that's not charging for use, and it creates a lot of supervising to keep people from neighboring towns coming in with their materials.
The unwelcome traffic.
Right. Because it's free to come here, so people.
Well, just in prep for the meeting, I did some research on statutes with
All right.
respect to this.
Tell me.
We need an attorney to get through this. Because so much of it is either regional or state level with respect to the statutes.
Okay.
And I'm not sure, I could not find one that was very explicit about what a local municipality can do in this respect. Statutorily.
So I believe it was created when we created the transfer station, right? Am I remembering that right? That's
I
what,
don't know, like, let's see.
or as part of the creation of the transfer station when we switched from landfill.
The first commission was adopted on October 18th, 1988.
Right. But then,
Yeah, and we were still dumping on the pile at that point.
I think we were.
Yeah, we were.
Then it was amended in.
I remember what vehicle I was driving, that's why I know.
It was amended in 95, amended again in 96, amended again in 2018.
but they haven't met in ages, right? Like,
Yeah, I think it died out somewhere around 2013, 14, somewhere in there. And there probably wasn't a lot of business for them to be doing at that
I
time.
think at that point,
right.
when did single stream come into be? And I think that's when things kind of lost their focus on that.
Yeah, because it was sort of stable at that point.
Commission, so. But I think, if we're gonna try to reinvigorate this or reestablish this, we should understand what's in the statutes. Type of authority we have over.
My concern is how are you gonna find people that want to be on it? It's very difficult to get people to.
Well, that's,
And then now we're gonna ask for 7 more people?
Well, if we can find that there's a reason we don't need it, and we can do it in some other fashion.
Yeah, well,
we
that's
should
what I'm
explore
wondering.
that also.
I think we should explore.
the statutes kept alluding to a regional solid waste committee, so, various paragraphs that I just went.
Well,
through.
maybe the mid-NEROC thing can cover that. Because technically all our recycling and stuff is, like, those contracts are all negotiated through mid-NEROC. It's not just the hazardous materials.
So maybe it's a regional thing we can become a part of.
We already are.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think it would be challenging to find 7 more volunteers that really are into solid waste.
Yeah.
Or advising the solid waste on what to do.
You had the same.
All right. So we'll continue the conversation. Item C, EDC request to meet regarding commercial tax abatement level tax agreements. Setting the stage a little bit, I think a lot of people remember, last summer, late last summer maybe, there was a town meeting, and one of the things discussed was passing of an ordinance, which would allow this, left again. It must be.
I think he took a call.
Allowing for, various different types of commercial and utility projects to be eligible for some type of a tax leveling or some other options. There were a couple of there were like 3 or 4 different tiers or types of eligible
Types, yes.
projects, and then there were ranges of potential years and also different types of approval processes, depending on what the type of project was. It met with a lot of questions, and it was turned down at the time, but it's still an important conversation. Matt, chairing the EDC, has reached out to me and has
And there is.
wanted to get the conversation going again, which I agreed we definitely should. And look into some of the things that we know were questions before.
Yes.
And so Matt's suggestion was a joint meeting between some of the key committees, including this one. So he's here tonight to kind of speak about the idea of getting the committees together to try to get all the stuff that the public wants to know out there and understood. So Matt, you want to take it from there?
I apologize, I had to step away.
That's okay. I think I did an adequate intro.
Yeah, thanks for the intro, Mike. So, yeah, I think, a balanced town, grand list for the town of Wellington is important. I think we're stuck at right around 678 million or something like that. Yeah, something like that, right around there. I don't think it's moved much at all in last years, 2 or 3, 4 or 5 years.
You talk,
The
Grand list.
grand list, yeah. Okay.
So we're stagnant. I think Connecticut is a very slow growth state. So combine that slow growth, that means there's going to be competition amongst towns for development opportunities. And, if we're going to compete with other towns, it makes sense for us to put our best foot forward. That's what we try and do on the Economic Development Commission. But our town finances are stretched. There's reluctance to raising the mill rate. There is, I think we're at about 10% in our reserve account now, so there's not a lot of room there anymore. And this leads to a need for some kind of increase in our grant list. So I think it's time to consider some strategies. I proposed this tax stabilization primarily for the energy projects last year. I know Andy supported that. Ralph, you were there at the meeting. I think you would support it.
Yes, I would.
It failed at town meeting. There's a reluctance to have commercial development that feeds the town coffers. So that, if we feed the town coffers money, that means they're going to spend it, and that's bad. That was one of the objections. Another objection was this is too confusing. I'm so surprised by this. I was very confused. I don't understand it at all. I don't like it. And the third one was that there is the developer or the person that comes to us applying is going to be much more sophisticated than we are. We won't be. We'll get taken advantage of. Well, those are the three main objections, if you will, that I recall from that meeting. I thought it might be a good idea to revisit this and see if we can answer some questions. Like I reached out to Mike and I reached out to Steph Summers on the Board of Finance. See if we might be able to put something together. Mike and I talked briefly. I reached out to Steph and I haven't heard back. So I thought if we could have some, I want to have an actual, what do you call it, a hearing where we can have advertising in the paper. And I realize that's an expense we may not want to have. But I did want to have to cast a little bit wider net. And one thing I didn't want to have happen was to get the same people that we always have. I mean, I'm not alone here. It seems like the same folks always turn out for these kinds of things. And I'd like to reach a little bit broader, maybe that would be helpful. In any event, so I wanted to see what the Board of Selectmen thought, and this might be something we can do.
Yeah, I feel, as I already said in the intro, I feel very supportive of us doing the joint meeting and trying to get those public questions pinned down and get the answers ready. And then you would have, then eventually there would be a more formal hearing or town meeting to actually move the procedure of creating an ordinance or whatever. But a first sort of joint meeting thing would be a great way to start, get the conversation going, maybe get a public Q&A going, and try to get this, because there's no question we need to do some economic development. And we need tools, and we don't, as we've all discussed, Willington doesn't have a lot to offer, which in some ways is good because development moves slowly that way, but maybe it's moving too slowly. And, when you don't have city water and you don't have city sewer, you have to look at what you still have that you can control. We do have a railroad, which might be of some value, and we do have some control over if we can help with some tax stabilization.
And we have 84.
And we have Interstate 84, right? We have some things, and can we add something to it, to the incentive?
What is sad to me is we're on a major interstate highway that connects Boston and New York City. We have 300 and some odd acres already zoned industrial. And we've had that ever since RPS came to town. And nothing else has happened.
Partly because no city water, no city sewer, and maybe also because no tax stabilization.
Well, I think we want to, I've been on this board on planning and zoning for years. Multiple people have said we need to do something to attract business to town. And as we just said, I just was looking at it today, And there's things, when you look at a list, if you Google list of what municipalities can do to attract business, it's improve transportation, improve communication networks like broadcast Wi-Fi. It can be provide city water and sewer, and it can be buy property that is in the publicly owned, that is then developed. We're not gonna do any of that. The last one is tax deferment, tax abatement, with the idea that you will, and they're looking at it as an investment. You're not getting no taxes, you're getting some. So I am not a tax expert, and I'm not particularly good with finances, but when I look at the list of things that a small town can do, taxes is the one tool we have, and I think we really need to look at that. Somebody, where did I just hear about? Well, I've heard it over time, that people want to come in here and do something, but they're not gonna do it unless there's some incentive for them to invest. And, I mean, just look at what things cost, listening to Rachel, how much it costs to redo the fields down there in 32. Tens of thousands of dollars to do fairly minor things. A developer is not gonna come in here and say, yeah, I'm gonna invest millions, and it is millions. It isn't just, $100,000. Not that I have, I don't mean to throw it around lightly, but now it is millions to do a fairly small thing. Anything at all, probably $1 million.
And one of the reluctance, like the comments that I've heard is, well, we're gonna, if we give them an abatement or an equalization, we're not gonna collect as much as we could.
Or collect
The reality is, if you look at the 300 acres that's industrial, it's in forestry.
Right.
We are not collecting, there's no major revenue stream coming from that acreage. And
Yeah.
even if we ticked up the taxes on a portion of that, just a little bit.
Right.
Far less than it would be if we put a business in there.
Right.
But let's get the business in there, and that may be the incentive to
And
more
this
business.
is forever, it's negotiable, it isn't like you lose that income forever, it's a deferment and a fate, whatever you wanna call it, it's a way of, it's an investment. We're basically in, but it doesn't really, it doesn't, I'm not gonna say it right, I wanna say, it's not really a cost to the town, because you're still getting revenue, just not as much, so you're investing that portion that you wouldn't get if you had the full amount of taxation. But I'd rather get 50% of something than 100% of nothing.
Exactly.
Well, and they're also, depending on what program and what agreement is made, it isn't necessarily losing any revenue. It might
Right,
just
it's not losing
it
revenue.
may just be taking the high end of the revenue early.
Yeah.
That would then drop with depreciation and leveling. That's another.
That's one way of looking at it. The other is, they come in, they get a special permit, they do the site development work, don't whack them right away on the property tax on the developed site. Cut them some slack on that in the beginning.
So there's a lot of ways to structure.
We're still gonna get more tax dollars,
Give them time to get the revenue stream.
but they've also gotta get their feet on the ground and get their business established. Because their development costs and the permitting process can be onerous.
Yeah, so clearly there's interest. Matt, you're talking about June 16th, right?
You were.
Is that still a maybe date?
I think that still is a maybe date, Matt fills in time while he looks at his calendar. June 16th?
I think that was the date
That's
you would.
no longer an option, I
Oh,
apologize,
okay.
sorry. But we're gonna have to push it out a little farther than that.
Okay, so you wanna get back,
I apologize, Mike, I'll get
Oh, that's
back to
okay.
it. But looking at the calendar, June 6th, oh, wait a minute, I'm sorry, hold on. I'll get back to you, I'll let you know.
yeah, get back with a tentative date.
Yeah, we're not gonna pass it here tonight, so.
And then you, wanted to have Board of Finance also, right?
Yeah.
So let's see what we can pull together and I'll, communicate out to you
Yeah.
guys.
That's fine.
I think, who else could we invite that could provide more, shine more light?
Conservation Commission.
Sorry?
Conservation Commission might be, someone.
Yeah, I would say, I just wonder who is there, would be the most knowledgeable? I think there's, I know I'm not. So I'd like to learn more about all of these different things and what are the impacts. When we talked about the tax stabilization, that kind of made sense to me. I did a little chart and stuff, and I thought I could explain it to myself at least, so that makes sense.
Your poster boards were very helpful, I think.
So, thank you.
All right, so we'll, maybe come up with some ideas that we can throw back to Matt.
Yeah, just anyone that could, and I don't know if the tax assessor or the tax, those people, the people that work within the tax world here are experienced about them, maybe they are, I don't have no idea. To really talk about what deferments would look like and structures, but I mean, been done for 100 years, so like stuff out there, I just don't get it that well.
We as a town have a financial advisor. A professional.
We had a
CPA firm.
We have a CPA firm. I wonder if that person would come in.
Well, I
Don't know.
we have,
Are
you're
they-
talking about the auditor?
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
their scope of work is pretty specific. So we would, not that we can't use them for other things, but we would have to get a fee letter agreed and.
Well,
No, I think what we need to look at is someone who's astute in the business climate. For the development.
Commercial development.
Yeah.
I'll ask Krog.
Maybe they don't.
Krog spends a lot of time on
Brock
that stuff.
might have a research.
Mike, you might want to reach out to CCM, they might be able to help you with that.
Yeah. Okay, I'll have to see some Connecticut Conference of
Oh,
Municipalities
see, so, yeah, okay, sorry, I didn't.
and the Capital Region Council of Governments.
Yeah, good.
I'll check in with both of those and Kara, to see what resources we can start pulling. You're saying June 16th tentatively
Yeah.
works?
Yeah.
Okay, so you'll reach out to Board of Finance. Tentatively speaking, you guys are good with June 16th?
I'll make it work.
All right, so work on pulling that together. Yeah, great. Okay, anything else on that topic?
Yes, okay, I think the one thing that we have to capitalize is the one resource that we do have that is there, and that is I-84.
That is what?
I-84.
I-84, the railroad, and being close to Yukon. Those are probably our things.
The cheap land.
Cheap land at this point, yeah. Although not ideal for development, either. Cheap, lumpy land.
It's a challenge, sure. But it's the kind of projects we engineers like.
Anything else on this?
Not for me.
All right, moving on to old business, continued discussion of present to speak and different options. I haven't gotten anything specific in advance from you guys on ideas, so I don't have, the only thing I wanted to add to the conversation was I just happened to be, Google searching, looking for record, and I discovered, that what Hebron uses is something similar to what we've been talking about, which, might be a good example to look at too. And they say basically pretty much the same thing we say, except, they basically take what's in Robert's rules and they put it right in their description of present to speak. And that is that if anyone in the audience has specific, and I don't remember the term they use, technical or factual or something information pertaining to a topic on the agenda, they may request during present to speak that the chair allow them to participate during the agenda item. And it is the chair's discretion to determine if that's appropriate. And I'm not sure, but I think they say not during a motion.
Yes, I think that's where we have to draw the
Discussion,
line.
yes, if there's a motion on the table, that discussion is limited to, we're gonna vote on that.
I think that has to be.
So-
I think it's way too diluted.
So that's just another idea out there. We're not gonna make a decision tonight, but I would like to, before we get into next fall and budget seasons and all that stuff again, I'd like for us to settle this. So you guys keep thinking about it and let's.
Well, yeah, I think I like present to speak and I like a lively discussion. I've been a very strong advocate of the more opinions, the better. I do think, I know, Mike, you are quite, you strongly believe that, incorrect facts or something that need to be corrected. And I spent some time thinking about that. And my example is if somebody came up and say, I think it's terrible that the that the transfer station is closed on Saturday. Now, that would be a time to correct it, say, no, actually, it is open on Saturday and these are the hours. But if somebody says, I think we have to be very, very careful about what is an opinion and what is a fact. That, and I think we need to err on the side of let people speak. And I mean, look at the budget discussions, you ask 8 people and they have 8 different numbers, and what the mill rate will be and what it is. And those are facts based on their numbers, but they also are kind of opinions. And I would say something like that, I would let that go. I wouldn't try to correct all of that. And so I think in order to encourage people to speak so they feel that they will not be challenged, we have to be very, very careful about what we consider factual and opinion. And I would probably say, if I feel somebody was saying something that was patently false, and it was something about town business, I would say, I'd like to direct your attention to this and that, rather than challenge them and say, you're wrong, this is the correction today. I'd like to direct your attention to these things, you may find more information that you should know about, whatever.
Yeah.
Otherwise, people won't want to speak.
So there's a certain amount of that is finesse, and that, that probably, varies with every one of the humans involved.
Absolutely.
But that also is why there's probably an important difference about public input versus participation in certain sort of factual technical discussions. Like, it's completely appropriate for the public to be able to say, in my opinion, it's a bad idea.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's important feedback.
It is.
But that does not maybe necessarily belong in the middle of the agenda, in the conversation there. It belongs in a, Q&A period or whatever, because we have to maintain the legal description of a meeting in public versus a public meeting. But still get as much public input as possible. So I think that goes hand in hand with what you're saying.
I think so too. But really, like, the way agendas unfold, there's a lot of times, as Rob pointed out, first time we're hearing about it is the first time the public's hearing about it. So it's the only time that we do get to discuss it. And some of these things have a short fuse about decision making, and it limits the ability to.
And that is a balancing act also, because we're not supposed to do business outside.
I know.
Right?
So I understand.
If we're prepped in advance.
Yeah, this is no harm, no foul. I'm not saying anything's wrong.
On that point,
I'd like to get it right.
we're not supposed to do business outside of a meeting. I agree, 100%. Okay. The sharing of information amongst us outside of a meeting should not be a problem at all.
Yes. Well, and you see, even with this agenda, you guys got more information in advance. Anna and I are working on improving the system, getting more documents out ahead of time.
That is appreciated.
But we should not be scared to talk to each other just to share facts that we found, and not debate the merits of choosing this course of action or that course of action. That's for the meeting, right? But sharing the information is important. And the three of us, each of us has a particular talent that we can utilize to help this board.
Yeah, we just have to review there is voluminous casework from the FOIA Commission on what has been adjudicated as having been found not an illegal meeting or is an illegal meeting. It's, it gets multiple cases per month are adjudicated. So there's a lot of history to look at already. And there are a lot of committees and commissions who have blatantly gone against the rules. There's also a lot of committees and commissions who have, with all good intent, been communicating outside of a meeting thinking they were not violating the rules, and the FOIA Commission determined they were violating the rules. So I think we just have to be sort of conscious of that. And that goes to another conversation we've had before. We should be doing a better job of training all the board members. You get on a board, you have to take FOIA training, there's online FOIA training and all that stuff. So,
just online training for Zoom.
This is, training how to use the Zoom. This, unfortunately, like everything else in this life these days, is complicated.
It is going there.
So do we want to try for the next meeting to start actually having some ideas on what we're gonna do with it?
Sure.
Okay.
We gotta start somewhere.
I will email the Hebron one out to
Where
you
is the
guys.
FOIA? Where is the FOIA training? I haven't noticed that in CCM, but then again, that stuff, my eyes kind of glaze over. Read all those.
There
I just
are
go
a
to
couple
CCM
different
meetings.
places to get, I think,
I mean, CCM must have.
FOIA does a video and all that other stuff. We have it, Nicole has it.
I know I went to the meeting at the library and I talked to him afterwards, and he basically said, if I want to ask you about how the trucks are doing, are we ready for the snow? Did they fix that? If we're looking for facts,
Mhm.
that's not really a meeting. That's
Yeah.
just what's
Exchange of
happening.
Information.
That's just an exchange of
Yeah.
information.
Yeah, just as I've notified you guys, okay, that, this is what we're hearing for the snowstorm. The
Right,
trucks
that's
are,
right,
the trucks
that's
are
right.
all ready, or,
Yeah.
The
here's.
minute I say, well, I don't think we should spend the money on now that's policy making, and I shouldn't say
Now
that.
you're gonna.
Now you're gonna do a debate, but as long as it's just information. But that's a hard thing to do.
All right, I'll get that Hebron thing.
But yeah, we have to start somewhere, so let's start on it.
Okay. Postcard to the public, I wanna wrap that up. I've given, Hannah has the, template to start plugging things into the postcard, and I think as soon as we agree on the date for this joint meeting, that, for the, talk about the tax thing, then maybe that's the last item that we'll squeeze into the postcard. And obviously, we'll talk one more time about what's on it. We'll try to bring it maybe all roughed out to the next meeting, ready to go. And then, make sure we have all the topics that we wanna see. So if there's anything else, we've been talking about this for months, if there's anything else you wanna see, or you wanna go over your list of what you think should fit on the postcard to try to improve public interaction and all that, please send it to me and we'll try to finalize it at the next meeting.
Okay, we'll get more people involved on boards and commissions, please.
Well, maybe that's a line we put on the postcard.
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah. Anna, you making notes for yourself and okay with the postcard? Okay. Town Q&A session, that should come right off of the, that should be like the next step from the postcard.
Yeah.
And like the date of that. And that's the extension of kind of what you did at the last town meeting,
Mhm.
Andy, is just have a whole bunch of topics for town,
What's that?
for discussion. And, have Q&A and, there could be a lot of different topics. It wouldn't be a specific board or committee's business necessarily getting
No.
resolved. It would be all the different stuff going on that people in town may want to talk or ask questions about.
Yeah, that's right. I can.
Or they may tell us something we're not thinking about, that some new topic we need to be paying attention to. So have some ideas on that and that.
Well, I'm gonna jump ahead a little bit. Has the selectmen ever had a table? Have they ever had a table at Williamson Day?
I don't know.
Would it be a bad thing to have? Would it be a meeting? Would it be a place for, I don't know, maybe a dunk tank where you sit there and they get to throw the ball and pop it out? But we had those at Williamson Day once, that was over fun.
Yeah.
I volunteered for that one.
That's okay. Well, I was just thinking about, if we say we want people to be able to chat freely, where else can you do it? Where else can you do it? I don't know. Not here is gotta, we're talking about how to have present to speak, but we don't want fisticuffs, but it would be nice to hear what people have to say in a relaxed environment. And when they'll sold beer. bring
A lot
that
of
back.
things have changed.
Yeah, probably get a lot, but I don't know, just a thought, just any way we can increase access.
All right, we'll do some thinking
I don't-
about that. We'll find out what other groups from the town are
I
having.
know the Democrat, I know the town, the political committees have their tents.
Yeah.
And, no. It'll be fun. Thinking of Q&A.
Yeah, okay. SBC report, let's see, we've got.
They're not meeting tonight.
What's that?
Are they not meeting?
They are not meeting tonight.
Well, yeah,
It's in here, there we go. Okay, so. This is a letter to Board of Selectmen, Board of Finance, and Board of Education from Jim Marshall. Project development update. School building committee has continued to work diligently over the past several weeks to continue to advance faculty development efforts. Across an array of potential consolidated preschool through grade 8 project updates. While the work remains very active and ongoing, please let this letter serve as a brief update. Summarize the status of the continued efforts. While not exhaustive or all-inclusive, top line highlights include successful procurement and onboarding of both owner's project manager and architectural engineering design services teams to assist the committee in developing requirements and design options, opportunities for a consolidated school project in line with the state grant requirements. Confirmation and validation of educational specifications, enrollment projections, and program requirements in conjunction with the Board of Education. Development of preliminary design concepts aligned with the above for several project options that include new school building on the existing Hall School site, addition renovation project of the current Hall School building, and new school building on prospective new property, subject to validation of that.
I want to stop right there.
Yep.
Well, it seems to me I've heard, comments from the public that people believe that those three things weren't happening, that the only thing that the committee was working on was a new building on a new site. So I'm glad to see that
Yeah.
in print, and I'm just curious, I wonder how that.
No, and if you were to go to, like, I think it was the last school building committee meeting from last week and look at more clear. Reach out to the legislators to get more clarity on how the space standard affects reimbursement before we go to referendum.
We'll back up.
All right, well done.
Didn't do much, but thank you.
The intent of this effort being to eliminate uncertainty for the town related to any potential space waiver requirements or needs. Okay. Land evaluation services and due diligence, appraisals, environmental sites, et cetera, at the current hall school site. And lastly, and perhaps most immediately impactful, the SBC has been working with our owner's project manager to seek clarity from the Department of Administrative Services regarding legislation set to take effect on July 1st, 2026, that have the potential to impact eligible project cost for reimbursement. This pending legislation has been the driver of the SBC's aggressive schedule towards a June 30, 2026 grant application deadline, trying to avoid financial impacts when the legislation takes effect. To that end, I'm very pleased to relay that we have received confirmation from DAS on the details of that legislation and that it is not expected to have a negative financial impact for Wilmington's project following a comprehensive analysis by our OPM. Accordingly, at our last meeting, the SBC decided to alter the project schedule and are now targeting a potential November 2026 referendum date for project approval and a grant application to the state by June 30th, 2027. Since its conception, the aggressive schedule has been a significant concern for the SBC as a limited opportunity for robust community engagement. This extended schedule will allow for much greater opportunity for the community at large to both learn more about any potential project and to help inform what it ultimately becomes. Over the coming months, as the SBC seeks to continue to actively engage the community in our ongoing efforts in project development, the committee greatly seeks and appreciates your support as key representatives within the community. While the SBC is the body charged with developing a potential project for the town, this is truly an effort for the benefit of everyone, and your input is crucial in achieving a meaningful project for all. Please don't hesitate to get in touch with any thoughts, questions, or concerns directly over the coming weeks, and we look forward to continued collaboration in the weeks and months to come. Respectfully and with appreciation, Wilmington School Building Committee. Okay. So that is the SBC upgrade report.
One of the things that I think a lot of folks were under the impression the school building committee was going to propose 2 or 3 options. The taxpayers were going to have to be able to have essentially a vote on which one they would go with. And that does not appear to be the direction of this committee.
I don't think the direction's set, and I also don't think that the votes on multiple options was set either. I think all of it is still up to public input and guidance.
No, I understand, but I think there were a fair number of people out there that assumed they were going to have a say in which direction we go.
They do every single meeting. They should be. They need to be telling us what they support.
I understand.
And multiple. That's why the architect is doing these multiple options in the presentation so that people can look at the options.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, what am I missing?
The ability to vote on it. That's all.
Well, that's all. Then maybe you need to be going to the SBC and saying we'd like to see all the options put up to a referendum or to a vote or whatever. I don't think anyone said it's not going to happen that way.
Well, we could petition for referendum.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of options, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes the best choice is not necessarily the cheapest choice, particularly for our town. Taxpayers won't like to hear me say that, but I think sometimes doing the right thing for the community can sometimes cost more than the most economical solution. But it's the best way to go. That's all. I think I just wish more people would be paying attention to what's happening with that committee.
Well, any way you can think to improve that engagement, let that committee know.
I'm working on it.
All right, emergency services facilities building committee report.
Yes, I'd like to speak as chairman, just to make sure, I want to clarify that the committee made a decision that it would not weigh in on the consultants' reviews, that we consciously weren't going to discuss all of the various options until we had public input. So it isn't like we haven't been lazy or negligent because we're not talking about what the best course of action is for the town. We were actively waiting for public input. So to that, on May 27th, in the lower level of the library, there'll be a public meeting with our consultant to explain the review of the fire station location study. This is what the flyer could look like. You pass that down the route. I think it's fine, although they went fetching us so because Jesse couldn't read my writing very well. But that's so for the public can see it too. I mean, it's my goal is to have these up at the town hall, at the town office building, put it on the website, hand it out to the various committees under good and welfare over the next couple of weeks. So we can get this word out, so we can get public participation and the public can hear what the consultant had to say about the various, courses of action the town could take regarding the fire stations. And it's a comprehensive study of not just the buildings, but staffing and equipment. And once that presentation is done, and hopefully we'll get public feedback, then the committee can use that feedback to make an informed decision about what courses of action are available and what one could be the best course of action. So that's how that is being handled. What would you like, anything else, or Ralph, do you have anything to add? I mean, we're all on the committee, so as far as the report goes, what else needs to be said?
I think you've covered it. The bottom line is that whatever we do is gonna cost the taxpayers. And the bottom line is what tax burden is the public willing to bear to get there?
Yes. I do hope people can go to the meeting. It's the fact that our consultant is there to explain that it's a fairly technical report. I think that I think I can say unequivocally that the members of the committee that are professional emergency service providers understand the report far better than I do. And having the consultant there to explain the parts of the report will be very helpful.
Methodology.
The methodology and what it really means. And so I'm really glad that Mike was, our first selectman was instrumental in getting the person here to do that. So please spread the word. May 27th, 6:30 to 9. We're gonna have refreshments, coffee, soft drinks, and maybe some, Dale donuts or something.
Andy, two comments. First of all, I think before this report goes out, when you correct the spelling of Fitch, we should put the website for our committee that has the report and stuff on it. So that if people want to do if people want to do some reading of the report before the meeting,
Yes.
they can find the report and look at the.
Yeah. Jesse did this like in a couple of days.
Yeah. No, I mean, this is great to have that from.
And I think the graphics are kind of good.
Yeah.
Any problem with the layout or anything? If you think of anything else to add, Rachel Jesse's going on vacation, but Rachel's got it in her thing. So
We'll put an ambulance graphic on there too.
ambulance
I
graphic.
think that draws more attention.
Yes.
The other thing is, funding, every opportunity in between now and whenever. I'm continuing to look for grant opportunities for
Yes.
us also.
Yep.
You know, just as we've worked hard with the school to try to find the potential to reduce the impact on the Willington taxpayers, you know, I'll continue to be looking, that SIF grant meeting I had today.
Yep.
We talked about the potential of fire station projects possibly being eligible for the SIF, for the SIF grant. So it won't be, lost, on my office to continue to try to find ways to make this, impactful. We'll continue and, you know, certainly I have a dream that we could get all these things for free, but I don't think that's realistic.
Well,
But we're also, I also don't see, I don't see the viability of asking the taxpayers to pay for all these things directly either. So we gotta find sources.
Do you have a problem if I send this invitation to, Lucio and Gordon?
Oh, of course not.
Anyone else? I'll send it to Courtney and
Yeah.
get everybody involved.
Yep.
Anybody else? Anybody else that should probably get a?
Yeah, I think once we tweak those things, go ahead and start getting it out there.
Okay.
I mean, it's only, 3 weeks away now.
I know, it's only 3 weeks.
Yeah,
All right, thank you.
crank it out.
I don't have anything else to add.
Great. Anything else on that, facilities?
No.
Okay, great. I like this.
Well, thank Rachel and Jesse. Jesse did the work.
All right, so good and welfare, you wanna? On something on one of these or?
No, it's
Okay.
totally unrelated, so we can go through that first.
Okay. Reminder about the referendum, for the budget. Voting is tomorrow upstairs, 6 AM to 8 PM.
So town offices, not town hall?
Town offices.
Okay, it says town hall on the minutes, on agenda.
Yeah, I regularly, a lot of people in town don't realize that this is not actually the town hall. People think of this as the town hall. It's
Yeah,
not the old
it's not the
town
town.
hall, it's the town office building.
Yeah, I'm just
Yeah,
correcting the agenda.
Yep. Yeah, that's right. It should say town office building. There you go. Yes, standard referendum location, 40 Old Farms Road, town office building, 6 AM to 8 PM. Standard procedure. The Willington PTA Fun Run, Saturday, May 23rd, 8 AM to 11 AM. Please note, there'll be some road closures in the Old Farms Road, Route 74, Cosgrove Road, Route 320, Jared Sparks Road area. Standard route, there also will be people running along the side of the road when there is traffic, so let's all be careful. State police, fire departments are involved. Willington Day, Saturday, the 23rd, also a little bit later in the day at Center Elementary School. Obviously there'll be heavy traffic presence on Old Farms Road. And again, you know, Willington Day offers the usual opportunities to connect with a lot of things in town. Memorial Day parade and ceremonies, Monday, May 25th, which, for anyone who doesn't know how it typically works, people gather at the town green around 8 AM. It steps off around 8:30, marches from the town green down to the cemetery. The road reopens. There is a brief, veterans, memorial type service at the cemetery. And then the road closes, we march back up to the green, and there's some more ceremony up at the green. In keeping with the original intent of Memorial Day, and it will be mostly focused on being a somber and respectful observance of those who have given their lives in service to the country or served and eventually did pass on. There will be some acknowledgement of the country's 250th birthday, but that's not really what Memorial Day is for. So it's going to be pretty limited at that event. But we do want to recognize the 250th, and it does tie to the service that all of the people that we're remembering on Memorial Day gave service to make sure we got to the 250th birthday.
Or the 300th.
or the 300th of Willington next year, right? Um,
Has there ever been any more talk about combining the two the way it used to be? Wellington Day and Memorial Day? Why did they?
there has been some talk, there also, there's been a lot of different ideas. And, I'm not sure at this moment what, what the feeling is of why this works. But this seems to be what's working at the moment. So. Okay,
Okay,
what else for good and welfare?
well, I don't know if it's good and welfare, but up and coming. Andy, I'm sure you're aware of this. On Polster Road across from Love's, there is a proposal in the works to develop a truck wash. On, would be behind the old, Red and Horse.
Yep.
Service station. That is winding its way through the process. I know it's going to be on in the wetlands radar coming out, which I'm sort of on. So, I just want folks to be aware that that's coming. It's a opportunity for some business development. If you see it that way.
Yep.
And I hope that,
And it's an opportunity to talk about traffic concerns also, which I do get complaints about the truck traffic in that area too. So I think that'll make it a very important conversation for the committees and for the community.
yeah, but, wetlands, we're not gonna worry about the traffic. That's not under our purview, but planning and zoning.
Mhm.
I'm sure they've talked with planning and zoning. Andy, you could speak. Are you still on planning?
I'm not.
Oh, you're not?
No. Voted off the island.
Yeah, I think inland wetlands is their first stop.
Yes,
Regulatory wise.
they've had some preliminary discussions with planning, so that looks like it's something that they're gonna push forward with. Would be nice to do something on the other side of the highway. That's all I have.
Maybe if we get some tax stabilization, okay? Right?
Some incentive that we can't offer within, in the form of water and sewer.
Anything else on, good welfare?
No, not for me.
Alright, I will just briefly note that, Hannah is fully on board, and that is most, visible by the fact that, Shannon has completed her part-time assistance, for Hannah, and is completely separated from our employment now. So Hannah's, out of the nest.
All right. Nice job.
And it's good to have her, here. And, so far, everyone in the building seems to want to keep her, so it's going in a good direction. So.
The length of the chain.
Okay, back to present to speak. Anybody online would like to speak? Steph? I recognize your hand is up, Steph.
You're muted.
Just gotta unmute.
I'm sure. She put her hand up right when I called, so I'm sure she heard me.
Yeah, but you can't hear her yet.
Oh, sorry about that.
There you go.
I was having trouble unmuting. I'm sorry. Yes, thank you. This was a meaty meeting. It's, it happened to buffer on a lot of the key
Just
points.
identify yourself, Steph, for the record.
Oh, I'm sorry. Steph Summers, Y Road. Okay. Welcome, Hannah. Anyway, I just wanted to say that it was a meaty meeting and I enjoyed the discussion. It was lively. And but I wanted to mention the tax stabilization issue. I think the combined meeting's a good idea. But I just want to say, please give some thought to calling it something else. It sounds like such a corporate title with a sort of agenda behind it, because the average person like myself would think tax stabilization means taxpayer benefit stabilization. And it's not really, it's a business tax stabilization, or you could call it tax stabilization for enterprise, or something to give the idea of what's really behind it. Because concerns that I think we should have as a town worried about our flat revenue is A, attracting business. Yes. So normally I would say this sounds like a really smart move. But B, the other thing is, what do we do for our flat revenues in the short term, which is a pretty crying need, in my opinion. So there's other things that you want to consider there, i.e., if you're entering an engagement over a business coming to town, you're stabilizing the tax so that they don't have the upfront heavier cost to them, but it's a 20-year contract or a 30-year contract or whatever agreement. You may be, taking on risk as a town where you don't really see the full tax impact or revenue impact that you would like to see. And certainly not in the years where we're neediest, which is honestly now, at the front end. So that's my concern, is really how it's presented. I think it's too vague of a title now, for anyone, particularly if the public's going to vote on it, to understand it's not a benefit to the regular taxpayer in town. It's a benefit to businesses doing business here, which is also a good thing, but a different thing. Thank you.
You, anybody else online? Jen?
Hi, thank you so much. Jen McCoo, Clover Springs Drive. I just wanted to say thank you to this board and to all the other boards for getting to the finish line with the budget. And I also wanted to make particular note of the fact that there was a lot of evident work done with legislators this budget season. And I was going to say bipartisan, but it's really nonpartisan work that's been done is really great on between Hartford and here. And it's Willington focused, and I understand that this money is being spread across the state, but I hope that tomorrow when folks are going to vote, we are able to put this money that we've already paid into the tax base. I hope that we are able to get that money back to Willington, on both education and on the government side. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else online? All right, let's go to the room. Don?
Don Berg, Red Oak Hill Road, Wilmington, Connecticut. A couple of thoughts through the postcard. I don't know whether you talked about this or not, but probably be nice to have a line on there as far as signing up for the various boards and committees to receive emails as to events or agendas or whatever may be coming up online.
Oh, subscribing to those.
Yes.
Mm.
Good point.
I was gonna say this during the first person to speak, but I didn't. And I just feel that the term acting dumb was inappropriate, especially when it was used several times. I think there could be more appropriate phraseology than that to get across an opinion. I also want to say that, as we all know, the old town hall is not the best venue for town meetings with regards to communication, because you can't hear in that building. So hopefully that will be resolved. And I can't remember if it's co-hosted with a Zoom meeting or not, so that maybe information that is not able to be communicated at the old town hall because of acoustics would be communicated better via a Zoom meeting. That's my comments for the second person to speak, other than I appreciate the second opportunity.
Thank you. John?
John Blessington, 29 Mason Road. I wanted to return to the public participation. If I had felt comfortable in jumping into the meeting tonight, I could have stopped you guys from doing something illegal. but I didn't feel comfortable. Now, you're not going to jail, you're just gonna have to,
Good thing.
you're just gonna have to repair it at the next meeting. But remembering from my days as selectman, the boards and commissions, the terms of the boards and commissions are established by ordinance, which means you have to go back to the ordinance. I'm sure her term will end up sometime in December. You're gonna have to fix that. And that's now several town clerks ago. The town clerk worked with the first selectman's office and kept track of when terms on boards and commissions were running out and would notify the chair of the board or committee and also the first selectman's office. And the board chair would usually try to recruit somebody or make sure that they were just going to reappoint the person already in there. And when it came up in the town clerk was sent to the first selectman's office, this is who you need to reappoint this, and these are the terms. And I think that always worked well. And now we seem to have a lot of, oh, this term ran out 6 months ago, we've got to replace somebody. So you might want to think about going back to that system.
Well, absolutely. And that, like John, I think also the chairman of any board, commission, or committee has an obligation to pay attention to their membership as well.
I would agree.
I chatted with a member of Parks and Rec today about terms and whose terms had expired.
Yeah.
And there was one hiccup there where someone had been reappointed, it didn't get posted on the webpage. So, yeah, it can go around both ways, but that system worked. But I also think that the chairperson of a particular board, committee, or commission has an obligation to pay attention to
That would be the ideal, but still, to have one person in the town who's kind of has overseeing on that, to make sure it gets done, would be a good idea.
Agreed. Would you just like to point out what you think we did illegally tonight?
You appointed someone to a 5-year term that should not be. I don't believe that is the proper way. That term will be outlined in the ordinance, and we'll have a cutoff date that it should have been to.
It's in my notes to check it.
All right, you're talking about her Regina's appointment. Okay, that's on the housing authority. The housing authority was not created by an ordinance.
Okay.
It was created by a resolution at a town meeting. Way back in what? The 80s?
I know, I got queried on it today, but I was away from home.
I know you've got the copy of the minutes from that town meeting.
I don't want to get too chatty and ready to speak here, so
All right.
we will solve, if we potentially did something wrong, we will solve it.
We'll fix it.
We have a note. Okay, who else and Matt?
So I want to echo Don Berg's comment about the town hall being very difficult for people. I mean, we have to do some things there, but maybe we could find another venue, one of the schools, that's more conducive to people participating. And then the second thing is, I know it would be very helpful to a lot of people if on the board of selectmen minutes, when we as selectmen work with documents, letters from different boards, also attach it to the minutes, put it right in there. This is what we discussed. Here it is. That would be a very transparent way of going about that.
There is some discussion about that. I don't want to get into a lengthy thing here, but it's really, for the most part, it's not supposed to be attached to the minutes, but it can be done as a packet, a separate packet that can be. distributed along with the minutes. So that might be a goal for us to work towards. Having it all.
And where did you get that echo his comments? Echo his. Point that out.
I'm sorry we didn't pick up on that.
Really did. Very clever.
And the point is well taken about the acoustics at the old town hall. It's been a topic of discussion in this building a lot lately.
Is that the only complaint, the acoustics? Pretty much, like,
Yeah. And
Well, and no Wi-Fi connection.
oh, no.
Okay, who else, in the room? Nick?
Big Teller, Myrtle. First I wanna say Ralph, Andy, we've not agreed on things. Andy, you and I probably don't agree more, but you guys have been awesome. I've never at any point have said, you know what, they're trying to silence me or anybody in town. So I wanna say thank you on that. Next, I wanna say, read from the charge for the SBC. They find it interesting that the SBC is coming up to, a deadline that could be unique. SBC should produce a solution ready for referendum previous to a state of Connecticut grant application, which should be completed previous to June 30th, 2026. So I'm interested that they should have this completed by June 30th. Does that mean that they're gonna then dissolve? Because they have since, from my understanding, have pushed this off to November. So just find that interesting. There was something earlier, and I'm not gonna get in a back and forth with Mike on this here, but I wanna point out, May 2nd, April 29th, twice, April 25th, 3 times, about CIP information, April 23rd, April 21st, April 12th, I'm not gonna keep on going on dates, but you have plenty of dates to reference. Not once did you see the town responding, this was Mike responding, to information that was the common person would perceive as the first selectman speaking on behalf of the town. Not once do you see the town of Wellington page responding to any of this social media, and that's not a criticism, I'm just saying. Yet you see, consistently, the one answering is Mike, straight to the people. You're explaining town operations and processes. You are correcting the record and citing meetings and minutes. You are directing people to departments and official contacts. That's not just a private conversation, citizen conversation. That's functionally, well, his page may not be marked as official, but functionally is acting as the first selectman in these posts. Now, I'm sorry if people don't like the act dumb comment. This is, I don't care about the feelings, please. When you act dumb, you're gonna get called out as acting dumb. So you can keep calling it as personal account, but the content says otherwise. So which is it? Are you speaking as a private citizen? Are you acting as first selectman when it's convenient? Because right now it's clearly both personal and first, depending on the situation. Do you really think the common person is sitting there saying, oh, this is not him not speaking as first selectman? That's all I have.
I think I already asked the questions before. I don't believe any communications you're discussing came from any official town accounts, so it seems like you're talking about someone from the community expressing their freedom of speech, just like everybody else is doing.
The person acting dumb.
Well, the person, that person hopefully was getting accurate information. Maybe they were acting smart.
But if someone were to direct, I suppose I were to direct someone to a particular committee or to the board of selectmen or to anybody, I can do that.
Sure.
So that doesn't make me part of I'm speaking for myself. So I think the same, that's what Mike is saying. He's speaking for himself, but he has a lot more information than I do to direct people to the various options that they have. So that doesn't necessarily,
Not to create a back and forth, but there is positional authority, and we could talk
I
offline.
understand
We could talk
positional
offline.
authority,
Yeah.
yes, I do.
All right, anything else for present to speak? Peter?
Peter Voltinchich, 97 Fast Road. Good evening. Like Marco, I want to enthusiastically agree with you. I have grave concerns also about any board member being the arbiter of facts. That is deeply concerning to me, and I think many townspeople. 250 years ago, Connecticut, along with 12 other colonies, disputed the facts with the King of England and their Privy Council. They, of course, claimed to have full possession of the facts. We said otherwise, and we will be celebrating that this year. So thank you for recognizing that. And for that reason, I'm also concerned, for the same reason, that we have any kind of two-way discussion other than simple questions, like what are the hours of a dump, where, again, a board member of any board in this town has the last word after a citizen that has expressed their concerns or otherwise. So thank you for addressing that. I also want to agree with you about the concerns citizens are expressing about the direction of the school building committee. It does appear they're moving in a singular direction. Contrary to the report we heard tonight, which I understand is a report that was submitted by the SBC to the Board of Selectmen. If you listen as I did, attending the last meeting and every other SBC meeting, the two presentations were very different. The presentation that focused on potential uses of the Hall School site recognized all sorts of potential liabilities and problems. The presentation that was given by Tectron Architects for a useful new site was extremely positive and underscored as the preferred direction for the town, given the difference between new construction and any form of reconstruction. More important than even the presentations was discussion that followed by the school building committee. Clearly, the representatives, and they're well represented on that committee from the school administration, indicated their preference for a new school on a new site. And the other members of the SBC, in discussion with the professionals there, our OPM and architects, all acknowledge that essentially the best willing they can hope for in terms of an option for the Hall School site was that when we build a new school on a new site, we can have a plaque recognizing the Gardner Hall School. That was disappointing to me, and I think a lot of other townspeople. When we spend this kind of money on consultants and architectural firms to assist us, we're looking for them to find a solution, not telling us what we can't do. Even if that solution, as Ralph suggests, could not be the least costly solution. But to present it in the most negative light possible, and if you listen to the discussion, that's what happened that evening. And then immediately following, we had an executive session to discuss acquisition of property. So it was hard not to leave that meeting knowing that we're now moving in a single direction. Thank you.
Anybody else? All right, so we're gonna take a motion in a moment to move into executive session as detailed on the agenda for two topics in accordance with Connecticut general statutes, one being employment issues and the other being legal issues. The When we come out of the executive session, I'm not anticipating any action. There is no action item left on the agenda other than adjournment. So there'll be no further action of this committee except, or board, I mean, except to adjourn. So people are welcome to wait outside. We'll be happy to bring you back in after the executive session. But there won't be anything to see other than adjournment. So
I move that we move to executive session at, I have been 8:30.
second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we have moved to executive session. We'll pause for a minute to allow everybody to head out. Yeah, you can stop recording.
Do you want to end that or do it?
No, so go to the pause. Okay, we are coming out of executive
Yes, I
session.
move that we come out of executive session at 8:56 PM.
That just happened, so we don't have to.
No, we just,
Yeah.
we did it, okay.
I'll move to adjourn.
I second.
All those in favor of adjournment
Aye.
at 8:56 PM, aye, we are adjourned.
All right.
I don't even know why I brought it down.
I like it.
I don't know why I brought it down.
I always like